What's going on? What's going on, everybody? This is Todd. I say it all loud, like you guys can hear me better if I say it like that. And so, excuse the dress down Sunday night, looking like a slob. But I am here for you guys and gals, and so it's been an awesome few days working with you. Everybody on this hangout is from Ryan Levesque's tribe and or community, and it's just been awesome. You guys and gals are part of an awesome community, part of an awesome club, really high level, savvy. No typical game players, if you will, that you see in the IM community, and so it's been really refreshing and really exciting, and so that's really a big part of why I decided to do this little extra 1 hour hangout. And so this is your opportunity to have me answer whatever questions it is that you have as it relates to your funnel. And this is no holds barred, so don't hold back. There's nothing that you could ask me that I think that I wouldn't be willing to answer for you. Thus far, I've never had a client ask me a question about marketing funnel, even our business, even our numbers, financials, that sort of thing. If it helps you, that I wasn't willing to answer. And so this is your opportunity to have me do that so that you walk away ultimately at the end of our hour together on a Sunday with more clarity, more direction, and more confidence in moving forward, right? And so I'm going to be looking at questions. Obviously, I'm going solo here, so I've got to field my own questions, but I've done that many times before. And so if you've got a question, you can go ahead and just type it right into that little box. You won't leave the page. Don't worry, you'll stay on the page. And if you ask a question and I need a little bit more clarity on it, a little bit more of a clarification from you, just go ahead and type away in that box. And again, you'll remain on this page. And then at the end of the hour, hopefully I've had the opportunity to answer as many questions as possible. And then we'll wrap up. Of course, one quick reminder, and then I'm going to get to the first question that's already been submitted, and I'm just going to go through these questions one at a time, is that if you haven't enrolled in the MFA program yet, the deadline to do that, to get the discount, regardless of whether you are a member of Ryan's Next Level Mastermind or not, the deadline for that is tonight at midnight. And so if you are interested, there should be a link somewhere on this page that you can click on, get in, and you're good to go. And of course, everything is fully backed by an entire 30-day, 1 month, half the program guarantee. So enough of that. Let me get to the first question, and I'm just going to go through these one question at a time and bang them out. So the first question is, will there be a replay? Stephen asked, will there be a replay? The answer is no. There will not be a replay of this hangout. We'll probably actually just leave this hangout up until midnight tonight, if even that. We might just actually take it down after this hangout. So unfortunately, no, there will not be a replay. So Dean asks, and hey, what's going on, Dean? Dean asks, what are your thoughts on giving away one hack per video like Brian Moran does in an autoresponder versus doing 3 hacks in one long video? Do you also prefer having the video on its own page like they do, or having it at the top of the sales letter? Great question. So I recently brought somebody aboard. I recently hired somebody to run a test for us with one of our particular products, a front-end funnel working with cold traffic. We were using primarily Facebook ads, and we were driving from Facebook ads into, let's just call it, let's call it Brian Moran funnel. And Brian is a great friend of mine. I flew out to Baltimore to spend time with Brian and his brother Scott. They were invited to my mastermind here in South Florida. So I have the utmost respect for what those guys are doing. They've got a great business, and I'm very proud of what it is that those guys are all about. With that being said, so we tested this funnel, this type of funnel. And for clarification for everybody, the type of funnel that Dean's talking about here is cold traffic to a squeeze page. From a the squeeze page offers you know, a lead magnet, some type of free piece of information. Let's call it, like in Dean's description, let's call it 3 hacks, 3 tactics, 3 tricks, if you will. And it doesn't have to be 3. And then from that squeeze, they come to a video that delivers on the promise, what was promised on the squeeze page. And then at the end of that first video, there is what we call you know, a soft call to action for prospects to click a link below the video to learn more about a cheap, let's call it $10 report. So they opt in, they come to a video, they watch the video. The video is primarily all content delivering on the promise made on the squeeze page. At the end, there's a very soft offer, a very soft call to action to learn more about this $10 report. If they're interested, they click the link below the video, and then they come to what's typically a short form sales letter. Let's just call it a long form sales letter. And $10, and then of course, if they're interested, they click the add to cart, they go to the order form, and then they go through a one-click upsell series. If they don't respond to that initial offer, meaning let's say they opt in, they watch the video, they don't buy, of course, they're plugged into a follow-up sequence. Now, typically the way Brian and Scott do their follow-up sequence is that days later, they'll offer a second video. There'll be an additional video, a content video, that also at the end of that content video offers, makes a soft offer, soft pitch, if you will. In other words, it references this report, and hey, if you want to learn more, click the link below. Again, brings them over to the sales letter. Now, if they don't respond, as the follow-up sequence goes on, they continue to follow up. And but as it goes on, there are additional videos. Usually they'll offer, you know, an additional 2 more videos. So it could be a total of 4. The original one after the squeeze, and then 3 additional videos, with the final video being more intense and more aggressive in its pitch, if you will, or in its call to action. Kind of like at the end of that video is more of the, hey, you know, like, here are the straight benefits of this report. Here's why you want it. It's only $10. You know, like there's, you know, you're covering objections in the video. So it goes from very little intensity of soft offer to more intensity. I learned a tremendous amount in testing a lot of traffic through this type of funnel. Now, in all fairness, we only tested this type of funnel with one particular product. Now, one of the most important thing that I took away from testing that funnel is that if your offer, and let me see how I can phrase this, if your offer is built on a lot of mystery and curiosity, as well as the desire for status. In other words, it's you know, you get people that buy because they're curious about the benefits, because they, you know, and I'll explain to you what I mean in just a second. They, you know, it's more about they want the benefits without really even knowing what it's going to take to get them, or they want to buy the product because of association with another group. So let me give you an example. If your product meets that criteria, using this model is not a good thing. And it's not a good thing because what happens is you take away the mystery with the content videos. You take away the curiosity with the content videos. In other words, it's kind of like you generate this itch, and then you scratch the itch for them. That's not what you want to do. You want to generate the itch, and the only way to scratch that itch is if they buy. And so in our case, we tested this particular funnel with one of our more popular front-end products, the 26 marketing funnel conversion tactics. Now, the way that product was typically sold, and this is a lesson in and of itself for you, is that what we did was we drove cold traffic to a squeeze, or what we would call a traffic captivation page, where it did not offer a lead magnet, it simply offered free information. They came to that page, they opted in, and they were immediately brought to a long form sales page that sold them on buying the 26 marketing funnel conversion tactics. And we tested an ugly video sales letter. We tested a hybrid ugly video sales letter with long form. We tested a hybrid page, another page. I forget what, like a page from my buddy Russell Brunson. We tested pages out the wazoo. The long form sales letter immediately after the opt-in page won, and it allowed us to convert really well with cold traffic. So imagine it. Think about that for 1 second. We were taking cold traffic, sending them to what you would call a squeeze page. From the squeeze page, we were bringing them to a long form sales letter, and we were converting exceptionally well. When we were close, it was actually close to 5%. So we were doing really well. We were more than break even on the front in terms of ROI. And the moment that we introduced content, where what we offered, we tested this, what we offered was we offered 3 advanced marketing funnel conversion tactics on the squeeze page. When they opted in, they were given the 3, and then they were given a soft call to action to click a link and get a report version of the 26 tactics. And it got crushed. We could not make it break even. And so, you know, what I take away from that, and this is speculation, but because I say that because what's important for us as direct response marketers, and this is a great lesson for you to write down, right? This was a lesson that was shared with me from a great copywriter over at Agora, and is part of a mastermind that I sometimes go to down here in South Florida, headed up by Tom Beal with Mary Ellen Tribby and Chris Brisson and a bunch of other folks. And he said, you know, that at Agora, they drill into the team that we're not in the why business, we're in the what business, right? That it doesn't matter why, it only matters what. Meaning it's only the results. Did this work better than this? Yes. That's the most important thing. Not so much why, because you might not be able to figure out why, but that's okay. What you're looking for, especially when you test, is what. What worked better than what? That's the most important thing. But I'll speculate for your benefit, and it's that it pulled back the curtain, and it showed them, it gave them an example of what those 3 tactics were, and it gave them the ability to say, maybe that doesn't apply to my business, or maybe it was too advanced for them in their mind, or maybe they thought, I don't know if I know how to implement that, or if I ever will implement. It scratched the itch. Whereas before, the sales letter created that itch, and the only way to scratch it, there was so much curiosity behind what are these 26 advanced tactics? Do I know what they are? Am I using them? Am I aware of them? Can I use them? I want to join the ranks of other advanced marketers, right? Novice marketers, even if they're novice and they know they're novice, they want to do what the advanced people do, right? And so in that context, we got crushed with it. And so the only time I would use that approach is when the content that you give, demonstrates how simple what it is that you're trying to convey to them really is. When it gives them an insight into, when it proves to your market that it is as easy, if not easier, than what you claimed. So the only time I would share content, that model, is when the content truly furthers the sale. It truly has the ability to demonstrate that it is as easy as you say it is. And so it's a certain type of sale that you're making, and you've got to know what that is. Are you making the more mystery curiosity sale, or are you focusing on this is easy, and now you're going to use the content as demonstration of just how easy that is? And so hopefully, Dean, that gives you a little bit of direction there. So Jim asks, have you tested refund rate time periods? If I price my offers all under 20 bucks, impulse buys, is there a lower refund rate for impulse buys? And what if I offer a 3-day or a 7-day refund period on a product under 20 bucks? Is such a short refund period okay? So I'll tell you that that I'll give you two sides to this coin. And, let me just say this, that the right answer is that everything needs to be tested. I'm going to give you my answer, but the right answer is that everything needs to be tested. My answer, with that being said, Jim, is that the longer the guarantee, the better. Because what I find, and it's amazing, I find this even still to this day, that the shorter guarantees, it's amazing how many people that ask for a refund on the very last day. And it's too common to be coincidental. And so what I believe, again, speculation, but I just think that there's so much of a trend here that I'm left with no other conclusion. That so many people, because it's such a short time frame, they make a note of it. They'll make a note of it in their calendar. Like, I only have a week. I only have 14 days. I only have 30 days, or I only have 60 days to make a decision. So let me just put it in there so that it doesn't get away from me. Like, in other words, look, the reality is that, the shorter the guarantee, the more top of mind it is for your customers. And so, the more likely you are to generate refunds. The longer the guarantee, the less top of the mind it is. I used to give in my very first information product, which was a $397 home study course, a physical product that we dropped in the mail and we sent out. We used to give a 12-month guarantee. 12 months. They had up to a year to send it back. And our refund rate was so low. Then when we later on got hammered by our merchant account, at the time we had one merchant account, which is a separate issue that I'll talk about in just a second. We got hammered by our merchant account because a lot of merchant accounts, they don't want you to do that. Today, a lot of merchant account companies won't even allow you to do that. Some might only allow a maximum of 90 days. Remember, because the longer the guarantee, the longer on the hook they are for the money, right? So like, in other words, if you give a 1-year guarantee, that means they've got to make sure that you have that money on hand for up to a year in case that consumer issues a refund, right? So if that consumer issues a refund in 10 months, that merchant account company is on the hook if you don't have the money. And so they need to make sure that you have the money. So they don't like refund rates that go out that far. However, from a conversion perspective, from a refund perspective, the longer the guarantee, the better. The longer the guarantee, the better. I will go as far as to say that the bolder the guarantee, the better. Meaning that, when you have a plain Jane guarantee, that's like, and let me just say this, that for time purposes, I'll try to make this quick. Let me say this, that, the right way to structure your guarantee is as a risk reversal offer, meaning that it reverses the risk for your prospect. It takes the risk off of their shoulders and it puts it on your shoulders. It removes all risk from the prospect. Whereas most marketers will make a simple money back guarantee like, if you don't like it, let us know and we'll give you your money back. Well, that's not a risk reversal offer. That's a guarantee. That's like, hey, you can get your money back, but that's not a risk reversal because there's still risk on the prospect. They still have to lay out the money, meaning they're still out the money. They still have to try it. There's no risk on your part. There's all the risk on the prospect. So the bolder the guarantee, the bolder the risk reversal offer, the better your conversions are going to be. And, so are you offering, is it, some marketers go with a conditional guarantee. If you do X, Y, Z within 30 days and it doesn't work for you, you'll get your money back. Then there's unconditional, do nothing, no questions asked, which is more common. No questions asked, for whatever reason or no reason at all. If you don't love it, you don't get results, blah, 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 let me know and you'll get your money back. But then there's well beyond that. There's double your money back. There is, both unconditional and conditional. There's a 30-day, no questions asked. You don't love it, you get your money back. Plus, you got a full 90-day double your money back, meaning, like at the end of 90 days, if you meet this criteria and, it didn't work for you, I'll give you double your money. I'll give you the money back that you paid for it. Plus, I'll give you an additional $100 or whatever it is that you paid on top of that. And so the reality is that scares the bejesus out of most marketers, but it bumps response. So, unless you're delivering a garbage product, 9 times out of 10, that type of bold guarantee will increase sales more than the increase in refunds that you'll get. Yes, you'll get an increase in refunds. Yes, the bolder, the bigger, the more audacious your guarantee, yes, your refunds will be higher. But 9 times out of 10, as long as you're delivering a great product, the increase in sales conversions, the increase in sales will far outweigh the refunds, right? And so, like, look, if you boost sales for every 1 refund, you get 2 more sales. Is it worth it? Of course it's worth it, right? Even if that means that you double, quadruple your refunds, it's still worth it if for every 1 refund you get 2 more sales, right? For every 1 increase in refunds, you get 2 more sales. And so, yeah, the bigger, the bolder the guarantee, the better. You just have to check with your merchant account company, because merchant account companies, they hate long guarantees, and a lot of them are already on edge with a lot of internet marketers, especially digital, when it comes to digital products. So you really need to check with your merchant account. Glad you like the answer, Dean. So Jim asks, can we hire your team to help us build out our funnel in Infusionsoft? And if so, how much do you charge? And if not, who are you recommending for Infusionsoft work these days? So if you're look, to have me and my team do your funnel, it's a lot more money than what you would pay to have somebody simply build it out in Infusionsoft. If you're looking for somebody to just build out your stuff in Infusionsoft, set up your campaigns, your automation, all of your triggers, your segmentation, your tagging, and you're not looking to have somebody, Jim, do your creative, meaning do your copy. If you're not looking for that, I'm not the person you want to pay, because you'll far overpay. You'll pay me a lot more than you would pay somebody else. If you're just looking for Infusionsoft work, you'll probably look to pay. You'll probably pay in the ballpark of, I don't know, $5,000-ish, give or take, to have somebody set it up for you that knows what they're doing. And the person that I recommend is Chris Cole. And depending on what group you're in, if you're you can shoot an email over to our support team at support@marketingfunnelautomation.com. Ask for Chris Cole. I think his last name is spelled Kekoehl. Very savvy kid, client of mine, student of mine, well-versed in the type of marketing that I teach. He knows all of my systems pretty darn well. And he's been around for a long time. He's the guy that I send people to when they just want Infusionsoft work. So if you're looking for copy, creative, meaning you're looking for somebody to do the bulk of the actual marketing creative, then that's something we could talk about my team doing for you. And I do it for clients. I take on very few clients because obviously it's crazy work. But if that's something that you're interested in, you could certainly email our support team. So Carla asks, have you ever done a funnel to market Kindle books and include other products? We do a great job of getting Facebook traffic to our book site, and those people sign up and buy a lot of books from our site and newsletter, but those are low price. We're having trouble monetizing the list with more expensive products. Just curious if you've tackled this before. So the answer, Carla, is absolutely. And the right way to look at the Kindle book is not look at it as, because it's a Kindle book or a book, that it's something entirely different. It's still an information product. It so happens to be a Kindle book. It happens to be a digital book, but it's still an information product. And for you, it can serve as the front end of the funnel. It can serve as the customer acquisition point, the point that you use to acquire customers, whether that's a $10 PDF, whether it is, that's delivered obviously digitally, whether it's a free paperback book that they get where they just pay shipping and handling, whether it's a DVD, a CD, whether it's a digital video, digital audio, a combination of both, whether it's a Kindle book, hardcover book, Does not matter. It's still an information product. And so as long as you are collecting the money, that money's not going through being collected by Amazon, but as long as you are collecting that money and you're processing it through your own shopping cart, you have the ability to put together a funnel just like anybody else, any other information marketer would put through a funnel. Remember, I have a lot of very successful friends who have one or more funnels that are built off of a free plus shipping offer, like my buddy Russell Brunson, who, Russell and I have a difference of opinion on a handful of the best components to have in a funnel. But I'll tell you that, Russell is a big believer in the free plus shipping model for the front end. And so for you, that's not a free plus shipping offer. That's a Kindle, an actual book. Think about it. In Russell's case, he is generating a tremendous amount of free buyers. He's offering something for free. So the quality of his buyer is far less than the quality of your buyer who's actually paying for something. Even though Russell's they're paying for something also because they're paying for shipping and handling, but he's still attracting a free buyer, an individual that's got that mindset of it is free, right? You're both probably collecting, around the same amount of money, but still the same thing. So there's absolutely no difference. Don't look at it as, well, this is a book, so this, should get marketed differently, or this is a video, so this should get marketed differently, or this is a DVD. So it's an information product on the front end that you're using to identify the serious individuals in the market, getting them to raise their hand and identify themselves as buyers. Once you've got them as buyers, you need to put them through the same process that you would put somebody through if they were a buyer of a DVD, a buyer of a $10 report, a buyer of a $29, customer captivation offer, which is the type of offer that I teach, that I utilize mainly, and so that's the way that you should approach it. So hopefully that answers your question. And it really works the same way. I'll say that, look, going from a cheap front end, whether it be a Kindle, a book, whether it be a free plus shipping, whether it be a $10 DVD or whatever, sure, the lower the price on the front end, the lower the quality customer. It is what it is. But the way to look at it is you don't need a huge conversion rate throughout the upsell sequence off of a Kindle book to be able to break even on the front, especially if you're leveraging Facebook traffic. In other words, you're going to be able to get to break even, Carla, meaning you're going to be able to lay out $1 in traffic and get $1 back plus new customers and prospects, not with the Kindle purchase, but with what comes after the Kindle purchase on the front end, and ultimately what comes next in terms of what you offer those people on the back end. And so hopefully that helps. Are you still, let me see here. So, well, Jim asks real quick, are you still recommending Paul at Infused for Infusionsoft work? So Paul's site is great. It was great. I haven't had him do work for us in a while, and I'm not sure the direction that he's going now. So, I'm a lot less apt to recommend Infused. But Infused was great because Paul had great plugins. He still does, that are extremely cheap. He took a lot of the plugins down for some reason, and he's not selling them anymore. But there are plugins that I got from him for $49 that we still use that are phenomenal. But when it comes to actual implementation and execution, I would go with Chris. We send people to Chris that are really looking for rock solid implementation. So hopefully that helps. Let me see here. Cool. Glad that was helpful, Carla. Very quick for, I don't even need to do a commercial, do I? Right? There's a link below. Like, I think that there is no better program on the planet than the marketing funnel automation partnership coaching program. It's not about like, and here's one of the things, let me share this because this is a valuable lesson. I get these questions asked all the time by new clients. They'll talk to me about, or individuals that, this drives me crazy. This is a tremendous lesson for you. I get asked all the time when I do webinars, or if I'm at seminars speaking, and I know our customer support team gets asked this all the time because they give me questions that are repeated every week. And people always ask, like, with the MFA coaching program, they'll always ask, like, well, how up to date is it? How new is it? Was it made in the last 3 months, or how many times has it been updated since you first created it? And here's the reality. Let me give you the lesson fast and hard due to time purposes, right? So there are two things that you can study as it relates to marketing. There are tactics and there are strategies. The tactics are the things like the different ways of implementing Facebook advertising, the different strategies of Facebook advertising, how you can now today use custom audiences, how you can use lookalike audiences, how you can use retargeting, with custom audiences, and how you can use the retargeting pixel, and how, the ins and outs of how to use Google AdWords, or the ins and outs, the nitty gritty details of how to use Bing advertising, and what, let's say, going back to Facebook, what type of images are working best, right? Those are all tactical elements, right? Then you've got strategies. Strategies are the things like, for example, let's take the big global strategies in marketing, like scarcity, urgency, reciprocity, commitment, and consistency. Well, here's the thing. You should not be knee-deep studying tactics, because tactics change. They could change from month to month. In some cases with Facebook, they can change week to week. And so the reason why you shouldn't be studying and engrossing yourselves in tactics, you should be outsourcing the tactics or paying another company to do the tactics for you. And what you should be doing is investing your time in growing as a marketer in the area of strategies. Because here's the thing, when it comes to those marketers that study and engross themselves in tactics, 1 year later, they're no further along as a marketer if they're constantly studying tactics, because they're still trying to master the same thing because it's constantly changing. And so they never get up here into their marketing chops, never grow, because they're studying tactics, trying to master the tactical elements of a platform over and over and over and over and over and over. So a year later, they're still trying to master the new tactical aspects of Facebook advertising, when the reality is that you want to pay somebody to do that for you. Like, I pay somebody to do our Facebook so we don't have to try to keep up on it. So I don't have to try to keep up on it. So I don't have to learn that and stay up on it. There are people that are staying up on it, that are doing it every single day, day in and day out. They're in the trenches doing it. And if you're trying to compete with them, and you're trying to stay up to date with the different tactics of all these different things, you're trying to stay up to date with the tactics of Facebook advertising, the tactics of, the latest scarcity ploy, and all this, man, you are at a gross disadvantage. And so what you want to study is, you want to master the strategies. And the strategies are the things that never change. They never go out of style. It's why the most valuable books on my bookshelf are books that have been published 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago or more. Not the new books. It's the old books that I love, that I would hold on to. God forbid I had to get rid of my books. The new stuff you could take, right? Because it's the old stuff that comes. It's why Breakthrough Advertising by Gene Schwartz, I consider to be the greatest book, the greatest marketing book ever published. It's why a book like the Robert Collier Letter book, which God knows when, how many decades ago that was published. A book that Jay Abraham, Clayton Makepeace, these are guys that read that book every single year. Books by Joe Sugarman, old school books. Books by John Caples, old school books. Why are they still valid and valuable today? Because what they share is applicable today and will always be applicable. It will never go out of fashion, because it's tactics. It's strategies, not tactics. Why should you never buy a book on tactics? Like, why should you never buy a book on Facebook, the tactics of Facebook advertising? Because frankly, by the time you get the book, by the time the book hits the shelf, those tactics are probably out of date. They no longer apply anymore. All of that being said, that's why that question of, well, is the program up to date? Is it new? Is it new, the new stuff? Is it? That's why it drives me crazy when I hear that, because that's marketers that are focused on tactics. That's marketers that want the latest and greatest tactics. That is not where the fortune lies when it comes to marketing. Please, if there's anything that you take away from tonight, take that away. That the fortune is made, the fortune with you as a marketer is made when you improve your chops in the area of strategy. And I share all of that with you because there is no single program better when it comes to giving you the core effective strategies of designing any kind of marketing funnel than the Marketing Funnel Automation Partnership Coaching Program. That's the whole reason why I created that program, because I saw and still see so many people that are talking about funnels, talking about, well, a marketing funnel is you got to have a $49 front end offer, then you got to have an upsell, then you got to have a downsell, then you go to a higher price. That's what people teach as a funnel. That's not a funnel. That is the offer sequence of a funnel. That is focusing on the tactical pricing side of a marketing funnel. That's not a marketing funnel. Nobody was teaching that, and nobody is teaching that, and that's where the difference lies. That's why my clients will go through something like the Marketing Funnel Automation Coaching Program and say to me at the end, this was life-changing, this was transformational, this was unlike anything else that I've ever done, because they never learn that stuff. They never learn the strategies. They learn the tactical stuff that works today, doesn't work tomorrow. And frankly, it's the right application of the tactics that even make tactics work, right? And the right application comes from you understanding strategy. So frankly, whether you enroll in the Marketing Funnel Automation Partnership Coaching Program or not, you need to focus on strategy. You need to learn strategy. You need to engross yourself in strategy, because it's strategy where the fortune is made with marketing. And so hopefully that that makes sense. So let me get back to the queue. So Joshua asks, I'm working on a funnel in the anti-aging market, have a couple of reports written already. Ultimately, I'm working on a front-end funnel of info products to back-end health supplement promotions, mostly JV at this point. So I'm wondering if your system can help me solidify my ROI on my front end so I can pump lots of people through my funnel. The answer is absolutely yes. First of all, I'll tell you something, that not only have I had multiple clients in the supplement arena, but what most people don't know, this is kind of like, all right. So I'll tell you what most people don't know about me is that my educational background from many, many moons ago. You can see I'm an old man. Many, many moons ago is in clinical nutrition. So that's what my college degree is in. I've had over the years, 15 different certifications, literally, as it relates to alternative health and functional medicine. And I was in private practice many, many, many moons ago. And so my formal education is in the area of clinical nutrition. So I've always have and continue to have a special place in my heart for folks in that arena. And so, yeah, I get a tremendous amount of clients that come through that. Both they are in the alternative health space, and I've had clients come in where they're both, they're in the information publishing / supplement arena. Sometimes the information comes first with the supplement. Sometimes the supplement comes first, then the information. Sometimes it's a hybrid where it is both. And the cool thing is that there's a tremendous amount of savvy stuff that you can do in the alternative health space, in the anti-aging space. And so the answer is yes, Joshua. Let me get back to another question here. So Dean asks, last question. Hope you don't mind. I emailed you a while back about my core offer, which was a huge amount of deliverables and value. And you said the following about tweaking the six-figure funnel formula offer. I would consider breaking out a piece of the program, the blueprint manual and testing that as a front end for $19 to $29, with the full package being the first add-on. I've got 2 questions. Would you recommend I sell the 12-week workout program with the manual as the front end offer, or just leave it with the video course, full package only, that has a video version of the manual, 12-week program, video, demos, audio, workout bonus, masterclass about 2. We mentioned having the full product at a rate of 47 as a test, but if I was to break out the manual for 19, like you said, what would I price the reverse add-on for the full package? Okay. Wow, kind of confusing. Let me answer this first and foremost for everybody generally, because this is also a common type of question that I get asked. And there is no one right answer. And what I mean by that is that we've got products that we've got multiple funnels that ultimately drive in to the same ultimate destination. What I mean by that is that you may have a funnel that, let's say, is selling the full-blown package on the front end. So you might have a funnel that, let's just for argument's sake, has like let me give you an example. Well, you might have a funnel that, let's say, is cold traffic to a squeeze page that drives people through a multi-part video sequence, multi-part video funnel that ultimately sells them on your full-blown package. Maybe that package is $97. Maybe it's $197. Maybe it's $49. That's irrelevant. But you've got one funnel that is selling people on the full-blown package. If the people then, in that funnel, for the people who don't buy, maybe you offer a payment plan. And then ultimately, for those people that don't buy, maybe there's a downsell where there's you take something out of the full package and you offer it to them. Instead of, $97, it's, $39, right? I'm just giving you examples. And let's say that's all one funnel. You might have an entirely different funnel also for cold traffic that is starting with the front end, with the downsell. So the $36 version, you have a second funnel that is bringing people in and is selling that. And then from there, you're potentially trying to upsell or back end into the full-blown program. And so it's not necessarily one or the other. One of the greatest lessons that I learned, and I'll share this with you guys and gals, and this is worth you writing down, is that a lot of clients come to me and they have this mentality. And I first heard this a great story of this was applied with my buddy Rich Sheffrin when he was coaching Mike Filsane many, many years ago. And Mike is, he's a friend today. He's a great marketer. This was, years ago when he was looking to really break out and really start his company. And and Mike came to Rich, and Mike said, I want to have a big company, I want to do a lot of money, but I don't want to, be tied down with like a job, having to go in there and manage everybody and all this. Like, I want to do big numbers, and I know in order to do big numbers, you need a team, but I don't want to have this job. Right. And so in his mind, it was this either or proposition. It was either I can do a lot of do big numbers, and have, a job where I'm managing people, or I can have a lot of freedom, not have this job, not have to manage a lot of people, but then I don't, I won't do, big numbers. And the big lesson that Rich taught him is that, and it applies in so many areas of your business, especially of your marketing, it's not an either or proposition. Most, average marketers, average entrepreneurs, they look at it as it's either or. Either I can have this or I can have that. When the reality is, it's the sharp, savvy marketers say, well, how can I have both? Both. And so oftentimes when clients ask me specific questions, like, should I do this or should I do this? I say, yes, you should do both. You should start with one. I recommend this one. But ultimately, it's not like, clients, that they'll ask me, or sometimes I get asked on webinars, like, do you believe in a high priced front end, or do you believe in a low priced front end? First of all, it's not what I believe in, it's what the market acts on, what the market takes advantage of. But the answer is both, because both can work in the same market, right? In the same exact markets. Now, if I had to choose one, I would go with the higher priced product, which is what I do. If you look at, the best performing funnel that I have in my business right now, and it's been this way for months and months and months, it's incredible, is for a product that sells to cold traffic for $500, for $497. And it's for $497 with a $297 add-on offer that comes, most of you guys and gals would refer to it as a one-click upsell. It's not an upsell because it's only $297 compared to a $497 price on the front-end product. And we get, mid-30% take rate. So between 3 and 4 out of 10 people pay another $297 on top of the $497 on that funnel. That funnel allows us to generate on the front end in that very first transaction $1.50 for every dollar that we invest. And we could invest, 17, 20, $25,000, $28,000 a month in acquiring those customers, month in and month out, without fail, on full autopilot, right? On full autopilot. And so we're about to monetize that funnel even more by doing what it is that I shared a few moments ago, and that is, we already have in place, and then I'll tell you something that changed that whole funnel radically. Would you guys want to hear that? So let me see if you'd want to hear that. And I know that there's a crazy delay here, but if you would want to hear that, go ahead and type into the box. You want to hear what was a game changer and how I took that funnel very early on from being a loser the first month, meaning for every dollar we were spending, we were losing money, to a radical shift. We doubled the visitor value on that funnel. If that's something that you guys and gals would want to hear, go ahead and say heck yeah in the little question box, and I'll tell you. So what we're about to do on that funnel is what I shared with you guys and gals, which is we are about to test a cool down sell, which is basically a stripped down version of the main product that's being offered. So right now what we're doing is we offer we bring folks through a phenomenal 4-part video sequence. We offer them the main product for $497. In the funnel, I use what's called an intensification sequence. So there's a sequence in the funnel after they've seen the offer that intensifies very cool. So cool. You guys, so now it's finally coming in cool. You guys want to see the hear the game changer. So very cool. Game changer, cool. Awesome. And then after the intensification sequence, for the folks that don't buy, we have a 4-day payment plan that is offered to them. And the way we do it is hard coded to each person. It's not like cookie based. It's not like, they can use a different computer and get the discount, a week later, the payment plan 2 weeks later or whatnot. It's hard coded to each user. It's a real 4-day payment plan. They've got 4 days. If they try to get the payment plan after those 4 days from any computer, from any browser, from any location, they will not get it. It expires in 4 days. And that's also worth a lot of money to us. Now what we're going to be rolling out shortly is a product called Marketing Funnel Quick Steps, which is a scaled down version of the main product that's offered at a lower price point. So we're already generating $1.50 or more for every dollar we invest on the front end. Adding that downsell offer in on the back is only going to bring that up more, allowing us to put more money into the traffic and generate more new customers. And that's on the front end transaction, right? So $1.50 or more for every dollar on the front end from the first transaction. That doesn't include the second, third, fourth, or anything like that. The game changer was with that particular sequence, we had a 4-day sequence. So, excuse me, a 4-part video sequence. So the way it worked was somebody would opt in, and then they would immediately get access to video 1. And then if they watched video 1, the next day they would get an email about video 2. If they watched video 2, they would then the next day get an email about video 3. If they watched video 3, the next day they'd get an email about video 4, and so on. So the fastest that they were able to go through that funnel was 4 days, right? Day 1, next, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, today, then second day, third day, fourth day. And that's if they watched each of those videos right away. If they got the email about video 2 and didn't watch video 2, they would get another email the next day with another hook, another benefit, another reason to go watch video 2. This is one of the things that I teach in the MFA coaching program. This is dynamic triggers, behavioral triggers, dynamic sequencing, something that can be done with a Weber, with whatever. And what was I going to say? And so the game changer, we implemented a process that allows prospects, when they finish the video, to immediately go and watch the next video. And it's all tracked within our email system, within our CRM. And so, so like when if they watch all of video 1, a button pops up only at the end, only when they've watched, that says, hey, do you want to continue on to video 2? And so if they click that button, they go to video 2, and it's all tracked within our system. So, they're not getting messages now the next day about video 2 or anything like that. They're moved ahead in the sequence. And so we've got a tremendous number of prospects that come in, and what used to take us 4 days to a minimum of 4 days, now we've got prospects that are buying the day they opt in. Because what they're doing is they're opting in, they're watching video 1, at the end, they're clicking a button, watching video 2, the end, clicking a button, going to video 4, boom, ordering, and right then and there. So we give the people that are in heat, so to speak, the opportunity to consume the content and go through it. Whereas before they were forced to wait. Here, they're not forced to wait. They have to wait if they don't watch the content, if they don't go through the whole thing. And so that radically changed the game for us. And so going forward, I would never not give that type of opportunity in any kind of multi-part video evergreen funnel. Of course, in a live product launch, that's different. But in an evergreen funnel, I would always give that option. So let me see here. So let me go on to the next. I think that I answered Dean's question. I'm not sure I understand exactly what is, there's so much going on here, Dean, in terms of your question. I think that, let me just see something here. Would you recommend I sell a 12-week workout program with that manual? And the manual is, yeah, I'm not sure I know. It sounds like you got a ton of deliverables going on there. I'm not really sure what the difference is between if there's a separate product that's the workout manual from the actual nutrition program. I'm not sure. If you want to elaborate a little bit, I will. I'll see if I can answer that for you. So Jim asks, what's your feeling on digital rights management software like Lock Lizard to protect PDFs or software when someone cannot download or screen record videos? If I'm in an industry where product piracy and sharing is rampant, if I use something like this, will I get a higher refund rate, or should I just accept the fact that people are going to pirate my stuff and share my stuff and live with it and not use the software? Yes, I wouldn't get caught up in that. If people want it, they're going to get it. And so people will always find a way to get it. You could see that piracy is rampant in the IM community. I mean, there's stuff that gets spread. I've had my stuff, virtually every one of my products has made its way somewhere in some crazy torrent site. I had products that, live webinars that I did were released in torrent sites before I was able to even release the recording. So there are people that will screen capture it themselves. Like if they want it, they will get it. And so The key is you just have to be more prolific than they can, pirate your stuff. In other words, you've got to be faster than they are when it comes to, they'll pirate stuff because it's just going to happen no matter what you do. They'll find a way to pirate it. They'll find a way to share it. They'll find a way to get it out there. Yeah, and I wouldn't even worry about it. Stay focused on just making more money and don't get caught up in all of that. And quite frankly, there is a lot more, a lot less markets are involved in there's not piracy isn't rampant in every market. It's only rampant in some markets, and it's usually the more tech savvy markets where people understand things like torrents and they're comfortable with certain pieces of software, screen capture software, things that allow for extracting videos, where people know how to find an Amazon S3 link and that sort of thing. And so I wouldn't even worry about it. So Anthony asked, can you talk briefly about the difference between the six-figure funnel formula and the MFA partnership coaching program? Yeah, so let me make this really quick. So there's huge differences. Number one, the six-figure funnel formula coaching program is one particular funnel. And I'll tell you in a second how that training program came about, because to be honest with you, I didn't even really want to create that program, being honest with you. I didn't even want to share that. But it's one particular funnel, and it is more tactical than it is strategic. So it's one funnel, and it's mainly the tactical elements of how do you set that funnel up from A to Z. Granted, it's a phenomenal funnel, the absolute most effective customer acquisition funnel that I've tested, that I've used with clients that I know of. If the time comes that there's another funnel that becomes more effective, I will share that one. The difference is that the MFA coaching program is how to construct any funnel. So it is the strategic elements behind message design, behind big idea development, understanding dominant resident emotion, understanding how to structure your message, understanding benefits, features, advantages, understanding overcoming objections, understanding how to craft your offer, how to present your product, how to present the premiums, how to design your premiums, how to craft your dynamic behavioral triggered sequences, like list segmentation, list management, refund reduction, stick strategies. I mean, it's a higher level program for higher level marketers. So, the reason why the six-figure funnel program came about, first of all, the MFA partnership coaching program is my flagship program. So all of those gurus and experts that rave about my program, that have been through my program, they're talking about the marketing funnel automation partnership coaching program. So that program, I had at one point a ton of marketers that were coming to me saying, like, we want to, I want to promote your stuff to my list, blah, blah, blah. But what happened was they would say it's too advanced for my list. We've got a lot more newbies or a lot newer marketers or a lot, they're wet behind the ears. And so if you have something else that's more newer marketer friendly, we'd love to offer it. But I think MFA is too advanced. And so my director of business development, Andy Hassan, kept hearing that over and over and over. And so he kept coming to me and saying, can you please develop something that's more newer marketer friendly? Reluctantly, I agreed, and that was the genesis of the six-figure funnel coaching, of the six-figure funnel formula training program. So it's one funnel, and it's mainly tactical with a little bit of strategy in there, whereas the MFA coaching program is the complete opposite. The other thing is that with the MFA coaching program, it comes with 8 weeks of partnership coaching with me. So my most successful clients, they're the ones that hop on the calls with me every single week for 2 months, and we work on their funnel together. So they run their big idea by me, or what they think is their big idea, and I give them partnership level feedback on what I would do differently, what I would change, what I would tweak. I treat those clients in the MFA coaching program as I do all of my clients, as if they were my partner. My money was on the line, my reputation was on the line, my family was on the line, and what would I do? So I don't tell them what they want to hear. I don't tell my clients the easy way out, the easy solution. I tell my clients what you need to hear to get the job done, to make the most amount of money. And so every week, week after week, as you go through a different module in the MFA program and you're learning something, you get to show up once a week with me where we actually work on that. And it's in a group setting. You get to listen to the answers and guidance and advice and direction that I give other folks, and you get to get the direction from me as well. Those calls are as long as necessary every Friday afternoon. They run from 3 p.m. Eastern time till whenever we are done. They are as long as necessary so that I get to speak to whoever wants to speak to me. Sometimes we're looking at URLs, we're looking at copy, we're looking at headlines, we're looking at calls to action. Sometimes I'm looking at email sequences. Sometimes I'm looking at we're discussing big ideas. Sometimes we're doing competitive analysis. Depends on the week, and it depends on how deep you want to get with me. But that's the difference between those two programs. I believe that the difference is that at the end of the marketing funnel automation partnership coaching program, you will not only more importantly than having a rockin' funnel or a funnel that's up and running and making you money, more important than that, you will have skills and knowledge that you'll be able to use for the rest of your life to successfully market any product or service in any niche at any price point and do it successfully. And to me, that's the most exciting thing that I get to give my clients, because that's truly where freedom comes from. That's truly where autonomy comes from. That's truly liberating. There's no better feeling than when you know that, man, I've got skills and the ability anytime I want in any niche at any product to break in and create a successful funnel. And so enough of that. That's why I'm so passionate about it. That's why you should be part of it. If you haven't gone through it, I promise you it will be life-changing. I know that there are some folks in here that are already part of the program, but Anthony, those are the main differences. Gene asked, what is your system that makes it possible to see all 4 videos so fast? You're very welcome, Anthony. Very cool. Awesome. I'm glad that, welcome aboard, and I'm glad that that helped clarify some things. So Gene, what system do we use that makes it possible to see all 4 videos so fast? So I use, so I use Infusionsoft. That's the CRM of choice that I use. And actually, well, I won't even get into that because it's beyond the scope of this, but I use Infusionsoft, and with Infusionsoft, we are able to, out of the box, make this work. Now, there's a way that you can make this work with a tool like Aweber. So you don't need an expensive application like Infusionsoft or Entreport to make something like this work. I mean, I think Infusionsoft is a game changer. It's been the single greatest investment, technological investment that I've made in my business ever. Now, granted, I've been using Infusionsoft for like 8 years already. I remember when it was a beast compared to what it is today. This was before drag and drop, campaign builder. Don't even ask what it used to look like. It was insane. But still, and I paid $4 or $5 grand for it back then. Still the greatest investment I've ever made. But you don't need that. You can do this with Aweber using a plugin or another application that works with Aweber called AW Pro Tools. And basically, with AW Pro Tools, you can do a lot of the same stuff that we do with Infusionsoft with a tool like Aweber. So Aweber is whatever, 19 bucks a month. I think AW Pro Tools is also like 20 bucks a month. For less than 50 bucks a month, or right around 50 bucks a month, you can automate this whole process. With AW Pro Tools, even, you could track what people do on web pages. Meaning, so for example, we didn't even get to talk about this. It's beyond the scope, and I know I'm going to start to wrap this up in just a minute. But with something like AW Pro Tools, for a $19 autoresponder like Aweber, you could track and segment the folks that abandon their order form. Meaning, you can follow up with folks based on shopping cart abandonment without having to use a 2-step checkout process. So you know how folks will oftentimes, there's an add to cart button, somebody clicks the add to cart button, and then they're required to fill in their name and email first, and then they enter their credit card information. Well, that's so that you can plug them into a shopping cart abandonment follow-up sequence if they don't complete their order. Very wise if that's the only way that you can do it, because of how high shopping cart abandonment is, or order form abandonment is, for the majority of marketers. The reality is you don't need to do that with Infusionsoft, with Entreport, or with a tool like AW Pro Tools. And AW Pro Tools, it was created by also a buddy of mine, a gentleman named Jack Bourne, very savvy coder, was the right-hand man for a long time for Perry Marshall. He's in a high-level mastermind with guys like Andre Chaperon, with Ryan Levesque. Many of you probably know. He's also with, like I said, Ryan Levesque, Andre Chaperon, Ben Settle, all those guys. And yeah, and with AW Pro Tools, you can track it so that if somebody clicks on the add to cart button and doesn't buy, it automatically subscribes them to a shopping cart abandonment sequence, just without requiring a two-step checkout process. And if you're not following up with shopping cart abandons, you're leaving money on the table. You are absolutely leaving money on the table if you do not have a shopping cart abandonment follow-up sequence. I've had clients that came to me, and the one thing that we changed that, like, right off the bat within the first month more than doubled their bottom line was we began tracking the shopping cart abandonment rate, saw that it was much higher than they imagined. I had a client once that it was over 80%, meaning 8 out of 10 people that watched their VSL, clicked the add to cart button, went to the order form, bailed, right? Tells you something's going on that order form, right? Which we addressed the order form, began to test the order form, and we implemented a shopping cart abandonment sequence with, and I don't have time to get into this right now, but I'll tell you, that is one of the best places, one of the best spots to include retargeting. Retargeting for people that abandon the shopping cart is phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's one of the highest value places to retarget. And today, there are ways, again, I don't have time. I'm already 8 minutes over, and I want to appreciate and respect your time, and I want to go back and chill with my family. But today, you don't even need to drop the retargeting code from, let's say, Facebook on your order form. You could actually do it. How can I explain this? You could do it like when they click the add to cart button, you can have the cookie, the pixel drop right there. So they get retargeted when they visit the order form. So you absolutely should have a follow-up sequence on your for those abandons. If you're not, you're leaving money on the table. That can and should include both email and retargeting. At a bare minimum, it should include the email, and you will make substantially more money just from that alone. Let me see here. So Anthony asks, I just signed up. Awesome. Welcome. It'll be the best decision that you've made. I also get the MFA newsletters. Oh, awesome. So the Marketing Funnels Uncensored newsletters, and have the six-figure funnel formula program too. After signing, it asked me to register. Can I use my existing username, or do I need a new username? You need a new username. Totally different platform, totally separate platform. So just register with it. You could register with the same username, but you still need to register for that platform. But welcome. Awesome. Glad to have you, Anthony. Let me see here. So Julie asked, have you ever created a core offer membership funnels for musicians? If so, what have you learned? Price points if music teacher is celebrity? No, I've never personally created a marketing funnel for musicians. A client of mine who's an extremely savvy marketer, Jermaine Griggs, you should study if that's somewhat the market that you're in. I think his site is hereandplay.com. Very, very savvy marketer, extremely savvy, and does extraordinarily well with folks that want to learn how to play piano. He's got, I think he might have Jermaine may have an 8-figure business today from hereandplay.com. And so, Yeah, I hope that helps. Very quickly. Uh, So Jim, that is definitely well beyond. So how do we trigger a shopping cart abandonment sequence in Infusionsoft without using a two-step order form if we only want to use the one-step order form? Well beyond the scope of this hangout because it's technical. There's a couple different ways that you can do it. You can do it with web forms that are actually hidden. That's the easy way to do it. You can also do it with there's a couple different ways that you can do it out of the box with Infusionsoft, but it's definitely beyond the scope of this. That's definitely the kind of thing that shoot an email over to support@marketingfunnelautomation.com. Let them know in support what it is that you would need done in Infusionsoft, and they'll be able to, I'll make sure that you get the direction that you need. Let me see here. So, okay, I answered that. When we're testing refunds, what's a good benchmark refund rate to go by for a digital download product price under $20? 10% refund rate or higher or lower? That's a great question, and it's an interesting question. I think if you're not getting at least 10%, you're not marketing aggressively enough. You're not marketing hard enough. And the reality is that the refund rate only matters compared to sales. And so what I mean by that is that, like I said, if you get more aggressive and you use a bolder guarantee, a bolder risk reversal offer, you bump your refunds, you need to look at it only matters in context with how much did you bump sales. Because if you bumped sales more than you did refunds, then I will happily continue to increase refunds if that at the same time, because I'm being more aggressive, it bumps sales. But I think that if you're not getting, at least a 10% refund rate, you're not marketing aggressively enough. And it's funny, I first heard Gary Halbert many years ago talk about that refund rate is a good indication of whether or not you are marketing aggressively enough. Like, look, the reality is you can't be timid with marketing. You can't be timid. You can't try to, walk in the middle and be plain vanilla, stay in the gray area. Marketing is about being on the fringe. It really is. It's about being on the fringe and pushing that envelope, right? Because, nobody remembers the middle of the road. Nobody remembers, people remember the hottest day of the year, where they'll talk about, remember that day when it was, 110 degrees, or remember that day when it was, 20 below. The extremes, the fringes, right? It's just like with, the marketing, like email copy, people, you can't want to remain plain vanilla, middle of the road, because you become forgettable. Right? It's like the biggest marketing sin is being boring, right? Being forgettable. It's your job to walk on that fringe. And so and to stir people up, to rattle people, to ruffle feathers, right? Like you're better, look, it kind of that old Dan Kennedy axiom of if you haven't pissed off at least one person by noon, you're not marketing aggressively enough, right? And so oftentimes the volume of, I don't want to call it hate mail because that's probably too strong of a word. I don't know if my skin is, I still don't really like getting, those, correspondence from people that, call me an a-hole or whatever. But the reality is that I use it as a barometer. I know if we get responses to an email where people are the emails that are polarizing, where we'll get emails that people are like, I love you, you're the best, you're phenomenal, and I hate you, you're an idiot, I please don't ever email me again. Those are the type of responses, all of those, that I want. You want to be polarizing. You want to make sure that you stake a claim, that you stand for something that brings you on one side of the fence or the other. Don't try to sit on both sides. Don't try to be well liked by everybody, because you'll be forgotten by everybody. And so you've got to be willing to get refunds because you're on the fringe, because you're saying stuff that is dividing people, because you're using in your marketing an us versus them. You're either with me or against me. You're either part of my club or you're an outsider. You're either with us or you're one of them, right? You're either an usins or you're one of them over there and out there and ha 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 kind of thing, right? And so that's the marketing that you need to engage in, especially within the information marketing arena, because it is very personality driven. And so a big part of what it is that you're doing is them buying into you and who you are, your personality. And so yeah, man, hopefully you guys and gals got that. And if you enjoy this kind of stuff, I'll tell you that at the beginning, if you enjoy these type of rants at the beginning of every coaching call that I do every week. So every week you get to get on a coaching call with me for 2 months, right? Where we get to work on your funnel and all the different pieces week by week by week. If you got value from this kind of stuff tonight, every single week, I start off with a weekly rant where something that I share with my clients about the nitty-gritty details of direct response marketing, of the front end, of the back end, of what I see that's working right now, or what I've been talking to clients about, or what I've been implementing with clients. These type of things, 20, 30 minutes every week, giving the gold. So you get access to that every week, in addition to me coaching you, in addition to the modules, in addition to the bonuses, in addition to all that stuff. And you also get access to probably now over 30 hours of archives, almost every single Q&A call, almost every single coaching call that I've done since the inception of the MFA coaching program. The recordings are inside your portal. So you can listen to the first 30 minutes of last week's call, of the week before that, of the week before that, of the week before that. There is arguably more gold in the recordings of those coaching calls than there is in the program itself. So if you found value from this, you want to get into the MFA program. And so with that, I hope that you guys got massive value tonight. I hope that you enjoyed it. I look forward to doing more of these. I like doing these kind of things. I think that it's kind of cool. It's kind of weird. This is my first Google Hangout without anybody else. So it's like, it feels like without if I wasn't getting the questions and the comments coming in, it would feel like I'm totally alone. I wouldn't even know if this thing is working, but I know that it is working. And so very cool. So I'll be doing more of these, especially more for clients. And so, yeah, it's been my pleasure. It was an awesome, for those of, everybody on here is from Ryan Levesque's community and tribe. I love Ryan. He's become a dear friend. He is phenomenal. You guys are in the right place. If you're not a next level marketing, next level mastermind member, man, that has quickly become the place to be. I really believe that wholeheartedly. I've said to Ryan, I'm pissed that I didn't start that mastermind, but I'm privileged to have been invited to it and be part of it and whatnot. I'm privileged to be talking to you guys, and I look forward to hopefully working with all of you inside of MFA. And so with that being said, take care, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. And click the link below and get into MFA. Like I said, the offer expires tonight at midnight. Be the most valuable thing that you have done. It's head and shoulders above any other program that is out there. I wholeheartedly believe that. You'll see it firsthand. If not, you could go through an entire month, take 4 weeks, go through all 4 modules, come on 4 calls with me, get access to all the archive recordings, all of the bonuses, take an entire 4 weeks, half the program to decide. If you don't love it, shoot over an email within the next 30 days. You'll get all your money refunded back, no questions asked, no problem, and immediately. And so I hope to see you on the inside. Talk soon. Take care, everybody.